So today we're going to be talking about Shadowverse Worlds Beyond as a new player, or rather the new player experience. So starting off, I am Swifvente. I am a fantasy streamer who tends to play kind of like old boomer games at this point. I'm like playing a lot of old PS2 games at the moment because that's what my viewers seem to enjoy. A lot of my content is based around fantasy and elves in general. That's the kind of vibe I've been going for. Now you may be wondering, why did I choose to play Shadowverse? And generally it just comes down to people ask me to. Close friends of mine had asked me to try out this card game, which they themselves are like big fans of the game, but I had never really picked up. I watched them play it a lot, but I never really could ever understand what was going on. But I thought I would give Worlds Beyond a go because, well, it was a new game, so I just wanted to give it a try. So my experiences in card games in general, I've played a couple in the past. I've played Hearthstone, I played Legends of Runeterra. I was a big fan of Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day. I'm not too big of a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh these days because I tend to hate card games that end in one turn. I enjoy card games that tend to last longer than a single turn. Another thing is, I've not really ever participated in card games that have ranked modes. In most cases, I would play either like casual, or if the game has a PvE mode like Legends of Runeterra does, I'd always stick to that because I enjoy. Well, let's just say I can be a bit of a sore loser, so if I lose a lot, I tend to take it to heart a lot. But Shadowverse has been different. It's been really fun. I've been really enjoying the interactivity, or rather, the game feeling like 4 card games in one. So, initial opinions. Having not played a card game since like Legends of Runeterra, it was a little different experience to get used to. I had found the whole Evo system a bit confusing at times, and it made me lose a couple of games until I got used to it. But I really liked the opening event that the game had with the bingo sheet and the... You know how most games open up on the first week? They tend to have like a reward system for like being like, thank you for playing our game. I did really enjoy that. It really helped making a deck starting off because I didn't really know which deck to play. I tried to choose a deck that looked the most visually cool for me, which ended up turning out to be the most hardest deck to play, being Forestcraft. I like the look of Forestcraft, but I ended up losing 90% of my games playing it. Like 80 to 90% generally speaking. It was kind of rough. Because I had picked this as my initial deck type, I was kind of stuck with it for most of the season because I couldn't make a new deck. So I had to just keep losing games as Forestcraft until I could build my next deck. So I ended up choosing Dragoncraft as my secondary, which I actually really enjoyed. I like the ramp playstyle. I'm going to explain to those who don't know. Shadowverse's like unique mechanic that separates it from other card games is that it's Evo, Super Evo. Evolving a card gives you a stat bonus of +2 to +3 depending on which you pick. But also cards have unique effects. Some being like draw extra cards or destroying cards on the field. I think it adds a really cool layer of gameplay to the game. As a new player, I didn't really know how to... I was very aggressive with my choice of using Evos, and ended up finding myself in a position where my opponent had their Evos and I had none left, which kind of lost me the game. Understanding that Evo points are critical resources to hold on to was something I had to learn the hard way. It was yeah, I lost a couple of games from that. So one of the most positive experiences I've had with Shadowverse is creating a guild. I initially didn't think about making a guild. I was gonna just join some random guild, but a friend of mine kind of convinced me that I should. And it's actually been really fun to do. Initially, getting people together, even in an open guild, was quite difficult. I ended up just inviting like random people. Once I had like 10 people in, it started to fill up itself, which is really nice. I'm glad to have done it, to be honest, because it's kind of built a community in itself that's related to Shadowverse. I look forward to playing with people within the guild itself in the future. Should be fun. One thing I think is a negative, personally, I think it's sort of like a neutral, but I think it would be improved. Would be if guild lobbies themselves were not private lobbies and more like open lobbies that people can just go into. Because the whole point of lobbies is to, or like guild lobbies, is to just play with guild members and also hang out with people and to showcase your achievements as well. I feel like having them as open lobbies, you would have a lot of the higher tier guilds sort of showcase off their achievements to just like people who want to check it out. So I feel like that would be a really cool change if they did that. So the game had some controversies around its reward changes between Shadowverse 1 and Worlds Beyond. Many old players had criticized the company for reducing the amount of rewards you get per daily, or just in general, which, as a result, makes it harder to build decks. As a new player, I don't really have like I don't have an expectation, I guess is the word, of what was expected. But in the end, I managed to create, by the end of this season, I've managed to create 3 decks to try out, which isn't too bad, I would say, seeing as there's 5 or 6 classes or like crafts in the game. I've been able to try like most of them. So the summary to end off with, I really enjoyed playing Shadowverse. It's a fun card game. I expect to probably play more in the future. A lot of people seem to really like watching it as well when I've streamed it in the past. So I'd hope to see you guys in the future, maybe. And hopefully I'll see you in the new season if Infinity Evolved. It seems like it's going to be a fun one. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. I tend to do videos around Dragon's Dogma Online and Shadowverse at the moment. That's the kind of games I'm playing right now. But I'd appreciate the support, and thank you for watching.